have to spend a lot of time in forums and online doing research and learning what's next, what's now, and what we might be missing so we can stay up to date and add new features to pagebuzz.com. So I see loads of comments from webmasters and developers. And one thing that always stands out like a sore thumb is they all appear to be pseudo-intellectual snobs, constantly putting down people that don't know as much about building websites, belittling people who are looking for solutions that are easy and fast. The webmasters make everything seem overly complicated so they can maintain their supremacy over the rest of us. Hey, I've been building websites as long as anyone, probably longer, and I would most certainly consider myself an expert at this point. In fact, I probably built more sites last year than most webmasters will build in a lifetime. So I'm extremely offended when a bunch of webmasters jump on me and tell me that the tools I use are not professional and that they don't have what real professionals need and that they can't do what real professionals do, and so on. They say the only advantage of my drag and drop editor is that it's easy, simple, and fast to build a web page. But that true professional and correct way to build pages is by working with the code, tweaking the HTML and CSS, by doing it with expensive, complicated software. Now, wait. The only advantage of PageBuzz is that it's fast, easy, and saves time. So you're telling me it's better to pay a webmaster, spend a pile of cash, wait a couple of weeks for updates, than to go online for 2 minutes and make the changes myself? Are these webmasters 30-year-olds living in their mom's basement, smoking pot, still working the same minimum wage job they had in high school? Because anyone that's ever worked at or run a business knows that time is everything. Time costs money, and you get paid for your time. So if a webmaster saved time building a website, well, they would have to charge less money for it. Before I throw all the webmasters under the bus, let's look at making a simple change to a web page. With our drag and drop editor, we want to add 2 pictures. So we go and click on Add Picture, slide the picture into place where we want it, move it anywhere on the page. We'll just place it here. We want to add a second picture. We select the picture, we put it here, and click Save. Now, in real time, everyone that looks at the website will see those changes, and it just took us just a couple of seconds. Now let's look at doing the same change using Dreamweaver, which is part of the Adobe suite. You can purchase it for about $2,300 for a single user license, so it's a little pricey, a lot more than $20 for your website. Here's the interface that you see. You want to insert a picture. Now we have to go in and insert a layout object. Select App Div, and it creates a division that we can move around just like we could the picture. There's no picture in there. So to click in there, insert image, and we'll select an image from our computer and we'll use the same image. It's going to tell me that the path isn't going to be consistent with the website. Then it's going to ask me for alternate text and a long description. I'm going to leave that for later. Click OK, and now I can move this around in the page just like I could with our editor. I want to insert a second picture. We'll go through the same process. Insert layout object, app div, click inside, insert image, find the second image, again go through all these menus, and it inserts the image. Now as you can see, the program doesn't really recognize the image format, so that's another problem in itself. Put the 2 images in there, and now we're going to go up and save the page. Now we'll go ahead and save it. We'll save it in the computer, and we've saved the page. Now the next part of the process is we have to go up here into the image source in the HTML and actually change these paths. And when I talk about changing the code or changing the HTML, we're going to have to go in here so that this is the same path that it is on the website, because the file paths aren't the same on your computer as they are on the website. So we'll make those changes. After that, we'll have to open up a program like FileZilla or some FTP upload program and upload the files into the web server in the correct directories. If they're using external CSS files, we'll have to upload that as well. This whole process is going to take us about 10 or 15 minutes, compared to about 2 seconds that we spent on the drag and drop editor. We both did the same thing, and we both have the same page in the end. We did ours in a few seconds, while the professional webmaster took several minutes. When you compound that time over hundreds of pages, what you can do in an hour will take that webmaster a full week. In fact, it is the webmaster that's refusing to embrace the tools that make the job easier. Now, do webmasters tell carpenters they're not professional because they use power saws with laser guides and air nailers instead of hand saws and hammers? Do webmasters tell farmers they're not professional because they use a four-wheel drive tractor to plow the field instead of a team of draft horses? Of course not. So why are they telling me I'm not a professional when I use tools that make my job easier, faster, and more efficient? Of course the webmasters are going to say that. After all, what are they going to say? You don't need them? But now they've been replaced by technology. That now anyone can do what they do. That what takes them 30 minutes can now be done by you with 3 clicks. Of course not. So all the dreadful comments online, putting down all the non-webmasters, just shows us their frustration. Just like anyone whose job has been replaced by changes in technology. One day you have a secure, high-paying job. The next your company buys a computer that does it better, and you're fired. So I really can't blame them for being frustrated. Unfortunately, you can't believe them either. When they tell you something, they're just trying to survive. And that means if they're going to tell you that PageBuzz is not right for your website, that it's not professional, that's what they're going to do. That means that a huge portion of the information you find online about building websites is not reliable. It's been posted by mean and frustrated webmasters trying to influence your decisions. So you need to be extremely careful who you listen to and trust. You built your business by making sensible decisions. When it comes to building websites, sometimes a little common sense is all you need. And that's my 2 cents.